But it's also, from an architect's point of view, you need to recognise that, often it's clients that have an input, and that can be a creative input. And, often we find that, clients can have some very good ideas, better than our own ideas. And that could be because they see the way they live more clearly than the architect has, or it's just a fresh set of eyes. And so, any, I think, successful building project, needs to be a 50-50 relationship between the client and the architect. And then obviously further down the track, it's, getting the right builder on board in terms of, that's another contractual relationship that the client will enter into. They've entered into a contractual relationship with an architect, and again, they need a good working relationship with that person to deliver the outcome that they're expecting. Because, fundamentally, what a client wants is to hopefully improve their living environment. And by engaging an architect, you are going to end up with that. But also, by choosing the right builder, you're going to end up with that. And again, an architect can assist with that process, and coming back to why you should go to an architect, help you find a good builder. If you're embarking on a building project without an architect, you might, find that quite difficult. It needs to be a good relationship in the first place. And I think you'll find that all successful outcomes have been because at some level there is a good understanding and respect between the client and the architect. And that's not necessarily to say that as architects every time we're trying to design award-winning buildings. Sometimes as architects it's about recognising that what needs to be done is to, in some small way, improve somebody's living environment. It can be quite simple in terms of the changes to their house, for example. It doesn't need to cost a lot of money, but the immense pleasure that people will get from that improved living environment is something that you can't really measure in a lot of ways. But it's sort of if you like, it's the joy on their faces when they have the housewarming, they've got all their friends around and everyone's telling them it's a fantastic experience. No matter what the project is, people will have a budget in mind. Now, that budget may or may not be realistically related to their needs and their desires, but it's an important component to tease that out early, to make sure that people's expectations in terms of what they're wanting actually is matching their budget. And I think we're all in that situation where often our desire, if you like, exceeds our budget. And that doesn't really matter what sort of client you are. That's always going to be an issue. And part of the process of working with an architect is to understand the relationship between brief, if you like, and the budget, and what's possible.